The CAA are investigating the Red Bull London Tower Bridge stunt, and we actually found out in the weirdest way. They've actually gone from celebrating the event openly on social media to withdrawing their post and confirming to Geeksvana that an investigation is underway. Let me talk you through this story and the process as we go along. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. At the end, I would also be interested to know your feedback to the topics around the risk attitudes that come up in this video. So first up, what was the stunt? Well, the incredible team at Red Bull, in partnership with stunt crews, creators, and talented filmmakers the world over, are tasked to make content as dramatic as possible to get the Red Bull brand exposure, hopefully by going viral. So the nature of the stunts needs to be dramatic. So far, this has included things like an FPV drone, racing an F1 car, and even landing a fixed-wing plane on a certain building in Dubai. Overall, the stunts are highly impressive in terms of marketing. This event placed a scenario where two wingsuit divers were released from a helicopter and descended at over 120 miles an hour through the gap between London's Tower Bridge Road and the top of the main structure. It made for some very entertaining footage. Now, so much work and talent goes into their videos. Red Bull are, as they should be, rather protective of them copyright-wise, so we can only really show you more than a few pics and review it here on our screen here. The events are all about maximum shock value in the terms of the thumbnail and to get everyone talking about it online, kind of like I'm doing right now. Often, when you peel back the details, although the stunt is impressive and the filmmaking incredible, the risk itself is thankfully lower than you actually might think. I would liken it to some of the historic stars of magic and the way they managed to astound audiences with vanishing monuments and grand events. The thrill and enjoyment for the audience was more the focus than anything else. For instance, the fixed-wing plane landing on the Dubai helipad, well, that of course was with a Bush-style aircraft, which of course is legendary, flying in all sorts of locations, including remote locations like Alaska, for the fact that it can land and take off pretty much with almost zero runway. So why do they want to make a video of this event in the first place? Here in the UK, Tower Bridge is becoming something of a celebrity in its own right in the hobby drone world, but not for the fact alone that it is an iconic landmark. Drone flyers are flooding their way to the location to fly there because the regulations, particularly for sub 250 gram drones, as relaxed as they are in the UK right now, allow you to fly at the location to capture some pretty cool shots of the bridge. There is a window amongst all of the airspace regulations and even public takeoff locations, meaning that many people have put it on their bucket list of locations to go and fly at. In fact, if you look at the Drone Assist app, you will often find there are user-reported flights, like with this shot here, in the area, so it's become a real hotspot, a drone tourist location, if you like. One side note is that despite an increase in drone traffic in such a congested and overall highly populated area, the incidents have remained very low, so perhaps the relaxation of the sub 250 was really a sensible thing in terms of risk. However, if you go beyond the small window, you very quickly end up in locations where you need further permissions, sometimes from a range of authorities. This is the reason most drone videos and pics from Tower Bridge look very similar. So my video was to focus on the fact that a sub 250 gram flyer would not be deemed safe to fly through the bridge on both sides, but the wingsuit wearers were given permission to do so. Now, that's a very simple version of a more complex video idea, and I intended on showing how the CAA might look at seemingly riskier events with a different view. But that video was under development and we may never happen. We look at probably 10 topics for every Geeksvana video published, so who knows if it would have made it to air. During the research of the video, I remembered that the CAA very proudly put out a post on their X account, the platform previously known as Twitter, to proclaim that they had worked closely to provide the permissions required to make the stunt possible. The post shared the Red Bull video via their post as well. Sadly, I usually screenshot posts from a number of different accounts, including the UK CAA, but when this one went public, I was in the grounds of an English country mansion enjoying afternoon tea. Yes, that was as British as it sounds, so I missed copying the post, unfortunately. With my interest now piqued, I reached out to the press office of the CAA and asked them why they removed it. Was there something here we need to know? The CAA replied promptly with the following: "Thank you for reaching out. On background, the post was removed as we are investigating circumstances related to the event. we cannot comment on ongoing investigations, as you might expect. You might think that that's not a very useful reply, but actually there's a lot of value in a prompt and honest response to press inquiries, and I thank the CAA for this one. So this email confirmed that the CAA have switched from supporting and even publicly backing the event to now investigating it. Presumably someone has spotted something after the release or similar to that. The nature of the stunt and the wording of the email from the CAA would lead me to think that it's along the lines of something missed, spotted after the fact. Could it be the drone flight to capture some of the stunt operated outside of the permissions? Who knows at this stage? It would be somewhat ironic if it did turn out to be related to the drone being flown, as this was of course along the lines of my previous video idea on the stunt. We will of course keep you fully informed of anything we find out as and when the CAA are ready to talk about it. However, we'd also like to give the space for any investigation to take place. So we'll only be coming back and confirming anything official, and my thoughts on this issue have been purely speculative. Such is the nature of news and social media. After reviewing all the information I have gathered on this event, the permissions, the released footage, etc., it would make sense to me that it's something perhaps ancillary, like an FPV drone flight, that could be the issue. There is something a little off about that, of course, when you have low-flying helicopters and wingsuits containing humans flying through the bridge at over 120 miles an hour. You have to wonder what the risk of a drone flight could possibly be. Although I suppose something occurring without permission in a restricted area is a technical issue in itself, and that is, of course, what the CAA are there for. This is a bit of a technical story and one for the regulation deep divers in my audience, so I look forward to hearing your discussions on this one. If you're new to Geeksvana, hit the subscribe button to get similar content, and if you've made it this far in the video, please hit the like button before you then seek medical advice. Sean out.